Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Chris. We're back with another video and stream today, and right here we have a reaction video. We'll be reacting to Fort Lauderdale crossing accident 33 years later by Thunderbolt 1000 Siren Productions. And this is actually one of my childhood YouTube. I like when I was younger, I used to watch this guy like just watch him talk about certain train crashes and incidents and stuff. You know, I got him subscribed on my other channel. I don't have him subscribed on this channel. So let me since this is a reaction channel, you know, I should be subscribed anyway, because you know I react to stuff on here. But I mainly subscribe to people on my gaming channel because it's my main channel and always been my primary channel. But yeah, I'm pretty much a fan of this guy. I'm a rail fan, if you guys don't know. A rail fan. Y'all could just search that up. I'm not going to give a whole detail on that, but yeah, let's just give our reaction, get our reaction to this, and yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to it. Thunderbolt 1000 Siren Productions. I remember listening to one of these stories when I was younger.
Before we get started with the video,
I was like freaked out. Like it was, I don't know, it was just kind of scary.
Thunderstone comic dubs. Head on over there to check out some comic dubs of Undertale and the Amazing Digital Circus. Link down below in the video description. On March 17th, 1993, one of the worst grade crossing accidents in the state of Florida's history would occur in a suburb north of Miami. A somewhat forgotten tragedy that, while the cause sounds simple in nature...
Honestly, I thought this was the Florida incident. No, that's two different incidents. I had in my mind the California incident, where I forgot what it was, but it was when the cab car collided with another train, or was it? It was a truck or no, it was a truck. I think it was a truck. It collided with a truck, the cab car of I forgot, but yeah, I watched it a while ago.
The Transportation Safety Board would discover this fiery hell on earth was a lot more than
I think it was California, accident. Or it was Miami. I don't remember. But this one, I haven't really heard of this one, so we're gonna kind of.
Our story begins in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on a Wednesday. Weather was nice in the 70s, in contrast to the blizzard of '93 that had just frozen much of the Northeast. That afternoon on March 17th, 1993, St. Patrick's Day,
nah, the head structure is crazy.
Vincent prepared for his morning routine, including dropping his wife off at work, before heading for his usual afternoon shift.
I used to have a model of these.
Terminal in Port Everglades, which usually ran from 2 p.m. to midnight. The Hess Corporation used to be an independent gas station company that ran from its formation in 1919 till being acquired as a subsidiary of Chevron Oil in 2023. However, they had already stopped their gas station chains by 2013. The company is most famous for their annual holiday models and toy trucks.
Yeah, see, I had one of them models. I think I still got one of them models somewhere in my house.
Every Christmas season from 1964
I always wanted another one of those
to this
when I was younger.
Day.
I remember this.
Coincidentally, 3 years before the fateful accident in Florida, their 1990 year toy release was a tanker truck, which yours truly had at one point as a child. This was their last tanker truck model they made, not counting miniatures or commemorative edition models. Vincent headed out of the terminal at around 2:30 p.m. with 8,500 gallons of gasoline in the trailer, bound for a Hess gas station in Margate, Florida. Vincent had a Florida Class A commercial driver's license with hazardous material and tank articulated vehicle.
You could show this?
Endorsements, which had been issued on March 24th, 1992. He had driven trucks for 18 years and had been employed by the Hess Corporation for 4 years. However, Vincent had not driven the route he was planning to take for at least 9 months because he had been injured on the job and had not returned to work until 1 month before the incident. The truck involved was a 1991 Freightliner 3-axle conventional tractor with a 34-foot-long 1977 heel aluminum tank trailer that had 5 fuel compartments on 2 rear axles. Meanwhile, Amtrak Train 91, the Silver Star, was nearing the end of its journey
Silver
from New
Star,
York
yes
City
sir.
toward Miami, Florida.
Nowadays they have I think they still have both. You got the Silver Star and the Silver Meteor, and they both go to Florida.
This long-distance
W
service can trace
railfan,
its origins to its first run on December 12,
Pennsylvania Railroad.
1947, being operated jointly by the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Seaboard Airline Railroad.
Oh yeah, the
being
Seaboard.
Passed down to Penn Central and
Penn
Seaboard
Central.
Coastline after respective mergers before Amtrak.
And if you guys don't know, quick little detail right here. Pennsylvania Railroad and New York Central both came together. Penn Central both fell off, and yeah, Amtrak took over. So
Took over on May 1st.
here we go. See, I didn't even have to say too much,
The train
bro.
was headed by an electric locomotive for its trip between New York and
Washington,
DC,
AEM7,
either an EMD AEM7 or General Electric
E60,
depending on what was available. But after an engine swap at DC, EMD F40PHR 385 was in charge of the train. Behind this 1980s built screamer of a diesel was 11 cars, a material handling
I have that
car,
a train and train simulator class,
a cafe car,
and all these cars
5
too.
coaches. Engineer Billy Parker, roughly 42 years old, was running the train that day, running 3 hours late, which isn't unusual for long-distance Amtrak trains, as they tend to be delayed by the freight railroads, in this case CSX, who owned the right-of-way the train was currently on. He had been hired out originally by the
Back in the early 1900s, one of his trains to reach Manhattan, station named the Pennsylvania Station. Yeah, you know what? They're all, if you really think about it, almost there's multiple Pennsylvania stations within the Northeast, but because look who started it, bruh. Look who started it. Look who started the Pennsylvania shenanigans, bruh. Pennsylvania Railroad did.
Road back in the 70s.
Bro, like Pennsylvania Railroad is like the father of like all this, bruh. Bro.
Before joining Amtrak in 1986.
And let's not invite Baltimore and Ohio Railroad into this, bro. That's something else. That's something else, bro.
Both train and truck were approaching
B&O Railroad is something else.
Creek Road, a 6-lane divided roadway with 3 lanes on either side. The Hess truck was on the westbound right lane, moving at a snail's pace, with the train approaching from the north heading southbound, traveling 60 miles per hour according to the locomotive's data recorder, which was the maximum authorized speed of the right-of-way. It was around 3 p.m., and a perfect storm of trouble was brewing. The road was being widened, so the left and center lanes were closed just west of the tracks to accommodate the roadwork, and traffic was heavily congested, with people trying to squeeze into the single right lane.
Did he not see that ahead?
The crossing soon activated, warning of the incoming Amtrak train. 5 different witnesses testified they saw the gate come down on the hood of the truck's cab near the windshield. The engineer stated the truck's cab was just over the east rail, with a white car sitting on top of the tracks. He immediately
this has to be one of the worst positions you could be in.
put the train.
Why? See, even if the road ahead is packed, I don't even care if the cars behind me are annoyed. I would just sit there and wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what is y'all doing? Is wherever you gotta go to that good? Bro, all they really had to do, if you really think about it, is just wait. Patience, like this situation probably would have never happened if they had patience, bro. What do you mean you sat halfway on the train tracks? What's wrong with you, bro?
Pound brake application and started blaring the horn in the crossing sequence. The car
That's not an excuse, bro.
in question moved forward, giving the truck room to pull forward.
That's not, and I'm gonna tell you why it's not an excuse, right? Because one, you should, like, when it comes down, It doesn't come down like it's fast. Well, for a tanker, I could kind of see, you know what I'm saying? For a car, but nowadays they let you know before the arms even go down, you would hear the bell ticking, and at the same time you would see the lights flashing. So if you really pay attention, this is what I'd even have to go to a video to notice. Like recently have to go to a video to notice. If you actually pay attention and look at a crossing in real life, the lights start flickering and the bells start, you know what I'm saying, ticking or ringing, right? It does it for a few seconds. Then for the next couple seconds, the arm comes down right after. They don't come down at the same time.
And sit
I've
right
been
on
to
the
a crossing
tracks,
recently a
breaking
couple
the
days
crossing
ago,
gate in the
but I did not
process
watch a video
as
about
it
it
strikes
recently.
the exhaust stack. Upon seeing his worst nightmare come true, Engineer Billy slammed the brakes into emergency, sounding the horn and alarm before diving toward the rear of the cab to brace for impact.
Jump out! What are you doing, bro? Jump out. I know it sounds crazy that I'm saying jump out, but if y'all remember that CSX situation where it was a switch and it was already a train in the other on the other track. I don't know if the switch was broken or if the train was already coming kind of, you know what I'm saying, or if it was coming up and it was just a little bit too far, but it was like this, right? And boom, it was supposed to, the CSX was supposed to go this way, but it ended up crashing into the other train because it was a little bit too close. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. It's like a camera video. It's footage of it, and once it crashes into it, sounds like glass and all that breaking. And then before they hit each other, you can see the operator jump out of the other train. So that's why I'm kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, why this guy, and they were closer than this, and I'm just like, why this guy just ain't jump out, bruh? He knew what was coming. Did he jump out? He said front of the cab, so I don't know if he meant like jump out the front of the cab or.
Yes, there's been a large explosion on Cypress Creek right in front of the Sterling Suite. And on the train tracks, and it keeps exploding.
Okay, what exploded? We gotta...
Stop. Wait, what? I'm on 911.
What exploded, ma'am?
Cypress Creek on the train tracks.
What exploded?
I don't know. It looks like a train, possibly. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Okay, we'll get someone out there, ma'am.
At 3:13 p.m., the train struck the tanker truck at over 35 miles per hour. The impact spun the trailer clockwise nearly 90 degrees, rupturing in a massive explosion, knocking down one of the crossing cantilevers. The fireball and impact dented the locomotive's nose. The engineer, just before impact, had dived toward the rear of the cab and curled himself into a ball to brace for impact. He was uninjured, apart from his hair on his left side being singed from the explosion.
So it was already kind of up there before. Okay.
The fire quickly engulfed the truck cab and spread towards several vehicles that were waiting for the train to pass that got caught in the traffic. Firefighters were quick to respond and douse the gasoline-soaked roadway with water and search for either survivors or bodies. 6 people, including the truck driver, were killed. One victim was found with their body sitting straight up with their hands fused to the steering wheel, frozen in place from the intense heat.
What the
19
hell?
were injured on the Amtrak train, 11 being passengers, and 8 were crew members, but no fatalities occurred on board.
See, and that's the thing, bro. Like, athletes nowadays, they suck. Like, the athletes back then, bro, they were probably, like, more, you know what I'm saying, more, I don't know how to say it, but, like, the 2015, it was either the 2015 or 2014 incident, the Frankfurt Junction incident. Bro, those athletes got torn up like 10 cans, bro. They literally, like, if you ever grab metal, like I don't know what type of metal, but, like, if you ever grab a can, you could kind of rip it depending on how damaged it is. You could kind of rip it. It was like ripped. You know what I'm saying? There was like a long car and it was just like ripped like a tin can. Like a ripped up tin can.
All the injured were
And in this situation, and only people got injured and not died like that from a couple years ago.
treated
Wow.
and released. The fire burned for hours, severely damaging the baggage car, diner, and one sleeper car. 6 automobiles and the tanker truck were destroyed, totaling $116,000 in damages. Amtrak listed the equipment damages at $900,000, and Hess also had to pay $450,000 for environmental cleanup from residue gasoline spillage. Investigators descended onto the scene to determine what exactly happened. Diving into the truck driver's record, Vincent had received 9 safety awards in the previous 3 years and was regarded as an experienced, qualified driver. But his record did show that, according to the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, between 1982 and 1988, he had been cited for speeding 3 times, following too close once, and operating a motor vehicle with improper equipment.
That's what I was talking about. He was a little bit, you know what I'm saying, close to that car. He could have just wait.
Once. The NTSB,
like the path, like the freaking road was already messed. Whatever was going on in the road.
though, couldn't determine whether these violations occurred while he was driving a truck for the company or his personal vehicle. But he did have no accidents on his record. There was also no evidence that he was either fatigued or under the influence behind the wheel. The crossing at Cypress Creek Road was fully protected, equipped with bells, gates reaching 38 feet long, and large cantilevers with red lights, similar to this design seen here in East Norton, Pennsylvania. The crossings were tested by the National Transportation Safety Board and would activate just under 3,000 feet north of the crossing for southbound traffic, and traffic traveling 60 miles per hour confirmed that 2 seconds after the train passed the sensor, the lights would flash and the bell would ring.
See? This is what I'm talking about, chat. The lights will flash first. The bell will the bell and the lights will flash first. It gives you a couple of seconds, like it gives you time, probably up to a minute. I don't know, but it gives you time. It literally gives you time. It lets you look. Now, I don't know if maybe there's a difference between back then and now because we got better technology. You know what I'm saying? But you could see like the lights flash and the bell do the little thing at the same time. Gives you time. Then the arm goes down slowly. And remind you, there's electrical currents that run through the track. It can catch the train from miles away, right? It's not going to catch the train when it's already close, especially nowadays. We got this all this technology and stuff.
Later, the crossing gates would lower, and after 7 seconds, the gates were fully down, and then the train would pass 14 seconds later. In total, that's about 30 seconds after the train activates the crossing. The crossing didn't malfunction, as all witness testimony, CSX maintenance records, and NTSB testing concluded the system was working as intended.
Is that a Dash 9?
So
Dash
it
8?
takes about 11 seconds for a truck driver to drive a truck across the tracks, keeping a law in mind where a truck with hazmat loads must stop before proceeding across the tracks, just like school buses, that still leaves about 9 seconds before the train arrives at the crossing. Witnesses also
and that's why you see why they speed over the whatchamacallit. That's why you see they speed over the track. Nowadays you might see like a bus or a truck speed over a track really quickly. See, bro, like nobody wants to, you know what I'm saying, get experience that.
It rolled backwards slightly as if the driver was changing gears, and then proceeded slowly across the tracks.
That's why they speed right over nowadays.
Concluded that the truck either stayed roughly in its place when the gate lowered on the truck's nose, or it floored it across the tracks. Even if it meant bumping a few cars out of the way, it would have never been hit by the Amtrak train. However, let's play devil's advocate here, as in all accidents, it's never one person, system failure, or force of nature that causes accidents. There's always a chain of events and factors that contribute or lead to disaster. This incident was one of them, and of course the railroads of CSX and Amtrak were in no way responsible, so attention soon shifted to the construction workers and the road work on this busy roadway, and busy is an understatement. Data taken on February 9th, 1993 showed that the average daily traffic count was over 50,500 cars. Between 1979 and 1992, the Cypress Creek Road crossing had 3 incidents take place, one involving a fatality, and had an average of 19 school bus
Brightliner?
crossings daily. Florida's Railway Highway Grade Crossing Safety Index ratings range from 0 to 90. Anything below 70 isn't considered safe. Cypress Creek's safety index was 18.94, ranking it 15th out of 4,100 crossings in Florida, all of which see over 100 accidents per year. On paper, the solution would be to turn the crossing into an overpass where either road or rail grade is moved so one can pass above or below safely. But realistically, this can't be done because the I-95 overpass is too close to the crossing, and the cost to do so, not to mention service interruptions to car and train traffic alike, wouldn't be worth it. All crossing safety comes down to education and knowing better at the end of the day.
I mean, that's not a fun. It's not a. That's not a common fun. That's not an uncommon fun fact, and it's not a rare fun fact. We know the Northeast Corridor is the busiest railroad in America. Next, anyways, video.
The NTSB also had some strong criticism for the engineering firm of Kunde, Sprecher, Yaskin and Associates Incorporated, who was hired by Broward County to design plans and to provide construction inspection services for widening Cypress Creek Road. In 1992, the county contracted with W. Jackson & Sons Construction Company to carry this out. This 540-day job involved widening the roadway from 6 to 8 lanes, resurfacing the highway, constructing storm drainage, as well as installing signalization, signing, pavement markings, landscaping, irrigation, and streetlights. The accident happened on day 241 of this project during drainage installation a mere 236 feet west of the crossing. East of the crossing, signs were in place warning drivers of the roadwork. However, all 3 signs were placed 1,500, 1,000, and 500 feet before the crossing because the lane closure started practically immediately west of the crossing. Traffic was being moved into the right lane and into a right turn lane that was being used as a through lane.
Now I see why sometimes they redirect cars to go another way. Now I see why.
This would cause, and witness testimony confirmed it. Now, during previous phases of the project, the lanes have been closed by tapering the traffic on the east side of the crossing. This, however, caused traffic jams at an intersection just east of the area, and the intersection's 2 left turn lanes had all backed up. So the contractor, with
Chat, and this is if you drive, this is why they close the road down and take you somewhere else, bro.
Having the closed lanes mere
one of the
inches
reasons
away from
why
the crossing was just a recipe for disaster, especially since in driving culture.
What is this layout? What is this layout? What the heck is this layout, bro? It looks like I'm looking at a cursed photo right now. This look cursed. This look mad cursed. The heck, like all this. Yeah, this is a cursed photo, bro. There ain't no way.
Not many people are willing to let a big slow truck go ahead of them, but that's beside the point because the county
shoot, when a truck is next to a car and I'm in,
and the contractor
honestly, bro, I get kind of nervous.
Consult with CSX.
Think that truck gonna smack the side of the car.
Might affect the construction project
trailer
and lane closures necessary for the project. Nor did they have any idea in their right minds the disaster waiting to happen. To make matters worse, the manual on uniform traffic control devices, which is what the design engineer and contractors had to comply with, had no mention of addressing work zones near railroad crossings. Just that, in quote, additional protection must be provided when special complexities and hazards prevail. The project prescribed for each situation shall be based on the speed and volume of traffic, duration of operation, and exposures to hazards. That's a bit broad. The NTSB argued this tapering and lane closure should have started east of the crossing no matter what. Sure, traffic would be further backed up, but it's better than having the backup right at the crossing. And although crossing gates are designed to break in a situation a driver gets trapped on the crossing, very few drivers are willing to do that and rather either panic and bail out or just sit on the tracks in vain before disaster strikes. And sadly, that being the case in countless crossing accidents, especially since, according to Operation Life,
You know what? I wonder when they do construction on like crossing, like I don't know how to say it. When they do construction on railroad crossing, I wonder how they situate it. Like, I wonder how they situate everything.
every 3 hours.
Because like I said, when was this? Like I said, like railroad crossings, they're pretty much getting better over time, but at the same time, it's like some areas, not everything is up to date in some areas. You know what I'm saying? So,
Car, truck, or person.
but in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, I feel like pretty much everything is kind of like up to date when it comes to railroad crossing, because like we saw the footage from just a couple minutes ago. We saw that footage. I noticed the timing between when the arms come down, and yeah. And if you realize in some places in Jersey, you know, Jersey Transit is pretty much like a fast paced, you know, system. So with them having to go at like 60, 70 miles per hour, having a crossing that is up to date probably would be the most efficient when it comes to that type of stuff. But
in
yeah,
the United States. And in
sometimes
every
80
case,
miles
the
per hour.
accidents are always preventable.
Did I already
and
say that? I don't know.
sadly, sometimes fatal. The NTSB.
Then yeah, see, when it comes to speed, the current throughout the tracks have to track that way before it even, you know what I'm saying?
Published their final report on February 15th, 1994, at 21 pages long, listing 6 findings, and that the probable cause was the inadequacy of the precautions taken by the Broward County project manager, the design engineer, and the contractor, which resulted in heavy car traffic on top of the crossing, and the truck driver's reckless decision to cross the railroad tracks even though the warning system had been activated. Recommendations were sent out to the Federal Highway Administration, the Hess Corporation, and the American Trucking Association to reevaluate their procedures in their respective fields of the accident and to educate their personnel under their control the consequences of not respecting railroad crossings. The crossing in question is still in use today. It sports a double-track main line now instead of a single-track main, as well as a more vast light system, including signs with flashers on top stating, "Do not stop on tracks."
That's why I said some of this stuff is up to date now.
What happened on this very spot in 1993. The former Seaboard right-of-way is still in use by CSX, Amtrak, and even Tri-Rail commuter service, which is the whole reason the trackage became a two-main right-of-way. As for the equipment, not much was said on the rolling stock, but it's very likely the diner in particular was scrapped from heavy fire damage.
Dang. But yeah, that route, like, I played this route in Train Simulator Classic. Like, I've played, what is the route called? Miami, West Palm Beach to Fort Lawn? No, not Fort. No, it's the West Palm Beach to, I forgot. I can't remember anything. I don't know what's going on with my head right now, but I just can't remember anything. But yeah, I played the full route.
Though little info is available, so take that with a grain of salt. The locomotive, F40 PHR 385, was repaired and returned to service. After retirement from Amtrak,
I think there's only like one of these left, and they're like in a museum, and they're trying to like do something with it.
it was sold to the Canadian American Railroad, renumbered as 453, and rebuilt for freight service as an F40M-2F.
No, it wasn't that one. No, it was it that one? No. It wasn't that Amtrak one. No, it was a different Amtrak one. They kept claiming it was one more F40PH.
Until the line ceased operations in 2002, where 453 was sold again to the San Luis and Rio Grande Railroad in 2006. It was sold off 1 year later to an unknown source, but it's fair to assume it was scrapped by TeeReacts or was stripped of parts as sister units.
But that's crazy because the F40 is still exists on certain in certain transits on certain lines,
It's
such as
also
commonly MBTA.
ended up there and didn't really make it out. Engineer Billy Parker is
And I think
still
one of them
alive
is in
today,
a
one of two
museum
engineers that have struck
in
gasoline
Illinois,
tanker trucks and lived to tell
Illinois,
the story.
somewhere in Illinois. I think Chicago.
He
Illinois?
worked for
No.
Operation Lifesaver for 10 years before becoming an engineer again in 2003. I'm sorry to say his near-death experience in 1993 wasn't the only incident, as there were 2 prior incidents of car versus train or car versus person in that order that he had between
Not gonna lie, what if airlines and train companies swapped? That wouldn't make sense.
1991 and 1992. The accident with the tanker in 93 shattered him emotionally unlike any other accident, which is often reality for a lot of engineers. In his quotes, it's not a matter of if, but when. He would retire for good on November 6, 2006, after yet another accident saw his train smash another semi-truck.
But yeah, I'm surprised, like, these heavy force cars, like these heavy force passenger cars are just like so different from now. Like nowadays, if that train collide and you inside an Amtrak train, Keystone, Pennsylvanian, whatever, Silver Media, Silver Star, Vermonter, Cardinal, whatever you're in, bro, that if that Amtrak gets hit, bro, just know it's gonna get torn up like a tin can, and you're gonna go along with it.
Thankfully not pulling gasoline, but still killing the truck driver in a fireball of diesel fuel when the truck's fuel tank burst.
But that 2015 situation was wow. Like, it was wow.
Of Fort Lauderdale
number ACS 64, number 601.
Wherever he is now,
the first
I'd like to wish
ACS
him all the
64, I think.
best. We've got your back, brother, and it wasn't your fault. None of those accidents were your fault.
And we ask ourselves, how in the world, why in the world do things like this happen? Do horrible collisions like this happen? Ladies and gentlemen, it's very important that I stress to you today that it is certainly not my intent to put the blame on anyone or anything. The solution is to continue to educate we, the general American public, along with professional truck drivers and law enforcement officers, about the dangers at railroad crossings.
33 years have passed since this tragedy, and if anything can be taken away from this video, it should hopefully be this. When approaching a railroad crossing, slow down, look both ways, and listen for trains. Anytime is train time, and just like airplanes, they can seem slower than they appear at a distance.
But they are really fast. Really.
Don't ever race a train to a crossing. Even if you tie, you'll still lose to the train. Only cross when there's enough room and time on the other side to make it across safely.
Yep.
You wouldn't stop in the middle of an intersection when there's traffic, so why do it on a railroad crossing? After all, it takes about a mile and a half to stop a train.
Lucky if someone beeped at me and a crossing was just coming down, bro. Like, if you just beep at me, I'm just gonna let you beep, bro. Bump into my car and something gonna happen. On folks.
Going 55 miles per hour.
On folks, something gonna happen if you bump into my car. How do trains survive when they hit vehicles at high speed? It all comes down to physics. If you know about physics, then yeah, if you know about physics, then you get it.
When approaching, stop immediately behind the gates. Sure, it's frustrating to wait, unless you're a rail fan like myself, but the wait is a lot better than a funeral. If you become
what the heck, bro? What is he doing? What type of goofy standoff is this?
If you become gate trapped as the crossings activate as you're sitting on top of the tracks, Find any outlet to clear the crossing as fast as possible, even if it means hitting the dirt or breaking the gates. The gates are only fiberglass after all, and have a bolt hinge design that snaps with enough pressure. If not, or if your car stalls, bail and get out of there. Saving
That's
that
close.
old fartmobile ain't worth your life. Remember, trains of today are much more
Yo,
quiet
it's a
than trains
specs.
of
It's a
yesterday,
it's an equipment move. Yes, sir.
especially compared to steam locomotives of Grandpa's time. And don't get me started on whisper quiet electrics. They've spooked me before.
Yeah, they do this in their crossing all the time. Even in Jersey. I'll be in Jersey and they do this. The Silverliner 5. KL5A horn, by the way. KL5A horn, by the way. Nathan horn, by the way.
Together, we can help make
I can't even
crossing
find my glasses,
tragedies
bro.
like the
I would have put my glasses on right now. I
a
can't
little
find
less
both of my pairs. Now that's a W video though. Hey, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Shout out Thunderbolt 1000 Siren Productions, and feel free to leave a comment. And check out my bio for the rest of my channels and content. And peace.